How you doing? I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Today I wanted to talk about the one good thing about moderation, and it's not a good thing for you, it's only a good thing for the alcohol companies, is that it keeps them in business. You know, they say that alcohol marketing is a multi-billion dollar industry, so they're spending billions of dollars every year on marketing, but they're not marketing to the likes of me, right? People who are in the middle age and already hooked onto alcohol. Not me now, but obviously in the past. So people who are already drinking, they don't need to be marketed to, because once you're hooked on the drug, once you're hooked on the lifestyle of drinking, then you know there's no more job to do. Most of the marketing is aimed at young people, and it's aimed at young people to try and get them into the alcohol in the first place. You know, it's like you know, the drug dealer who goes out, gives free samples of his whatever it is he's selling, and he knows then once they get hooked on it, they'll come back and keep coming back for more and more and more, you know, unless they move to a different place and they can't come back to him specifically. The alcohol companies have the same idea. You know, it's the fact is that once you get to a certain stage, all they're doing to you is marketing the brand, and they don't have to spend billions on that. They just have to keep it up in the forefront of your mind. And a lot of that is done in the supermarkets or in the pub. You know, most of it's done with you in your own head and all that kind of stuff. So, but moderation itself is just one of those things that will bring you misery, because it's something that you have to keep fighting over and over again. It's not a battle that you fight once and you get over it. You know, anyone that has to moderate, anyone who, let's put it this another way, the people that don't need moderation are the people who are already moderating. They moderate because that's what they do, you know, so it's not a thing for them, you know, they just drink at a certain level. You know, my partner, for instance, she has a glass of wine maybe every second night now. And that's her level. She doesn't like getting drunk. She hates getting drunk. I mean, I think that's something to do with her years working at the bar. So she just likes that thing, and she associates it with a different sort of thing inside of her own mind. Now, I still think that that's a dependence of some sort, because you're dependent on something outside of yourself. You know, we've got a dependence on food, you know, but that's a different type of dependence. You need food to live. You don't need wine to do anything. You don't need alcohol to do anything. You know, alcohol is taken away instead of given. So they're the type of people who already moderate, who don't need to moderate. The people who need to moderate are the people that can't moderate, because they're so used to drinking on a different level. You know, they're drinking, their idea about drinking is way off the charts. You know, my idea of drinking was to get drunk. Didn't drink for the taste, didn't drink for the companionship, I didn't drink for anything else. I started drinking out for different reasons, right? So I started drinking out because I thought, yeah, this is a great thing for increasing my confidence, or reducing that fear that I felt, the shyness that I felt. It gave me the ability to feel like I was a man, or that's the perception that I had, was it helped me to feel like I was a man. And you know, moderation really, after a long time of drinking, when you start to think about moderation, you're thinking about it because something is happening to force you to think about it. You know, if there was no damage caused by alcohol, then, you know, if there was no physical damage caused by alcohol, or there was no damage to your life caused by alcohol, then most people wouldn't have a problem with it. But even if there was no physical damage caused by alcohol, think about things in terms of time. You've only got a certain amount of time in your life, and that time can be spent in one way or another way. You can't spend it, especially with something like alcohol, you cannot spend your time and your money on alcohol and still have that time to do other things. Do you know what I mean? You can drive, for instance, and you can drive to a place where you're going to go out and you're going to walk and you're going to do other things, and you know, that kind of thing. I know it's not a great analogy, but with alcohol, you're sort of stuck doing what you're doing, because you are restricting your physical abilities to do things, you're restricting your mental abilities to do things, not only in the moment while you're drinking, but afterwards, you know, the day after and the day after that, you know, because how long does alcohol stay inside your system? How long does it affect your brain? Even long after you're the feelings of alcohol, you know, the feelings of the consequences, you know, the hangover feeling has gone. So, you know, this video is really about, it's about trying to think about things in terms of that moderation is going to keep revisiting you over and over and over again. You know, you moderate for a while and you eventually go back to your own style of drinking. I know this, right, from my own self. I don't need anyone else to tell me this. From the years that I tried to moderate, and I'd moderate for a while and keep going back, and moderate for a while, keep going back. And I know it because since I've stopped drinking, all my clients go through exactly the same thing. It's nothing new. Every single person that I've ever talked to, any person that has come to my one-on-one sessions, you know, any person that's in our mastermind coaching forum, anyone that's ever contacted me through email, say the same thing over and over and over again. This moderation doesn't work. You know, when you get to a moderation state, and it causes so much frustration in your life. It causes so much misery, but it's the frustration because you know that you're going to go back to the beginning again. You know that you're going to try and moderate, and you know, every time you try and moderate, it affects not only that time that you're moderating, it affects not only your you know, your abilities to see inside your own future, if you get what I mean. It affects your finances because you're going back to the drinking. It affects your relationships because you know, it just affects so many things, but it especially affects your self-esteem, your self-confidence, your expectations about your own self-control. You know, these things are shattered every time you go back and you say, I'm back here where I started again. And there's only one way out of this, and that's to stop. Once you stop drinking, you win the battle straight away, right? Once you do not put any more alcohol inside your body and you say to yourself, I'm not doing this again, your life starts to go on an upward gradient again, you know, instead of a downward gradient. And that's, you know, there's no other way of looking at this. You know, it's you know, if moderation was possible for a certain type of drinker, then, you know, I wouldn't be here. I'd still be drinking. Do you know what I mean? Because I wouldn't have got into the state that I was in. But it's just, it's not something that is feasible. You know, there's plenty. I've read a lot of books since I stopped drinking on drinking, and a lot of people have said, yeah, there's a possibility of moderation. And I think if I'd read those books before I stopped drinking, I would have believed that, and I would have got caught up in that bullshit, continuing on the poisoning. But since I've stopped, I've started to look at alcohol in the right way. You know, how your body looks at alcohol, and there is only one way your body looks at alcohol, and that is as a toxin. You know, so you have to start looking at things from that perspective yourself, you know, and stop deluding yourself that it's anything else, that it is fun to do, you know, because it's not. The fun thing is what you're doing while you're drinking. You know, you're out with your friends, or, you know, you're relaxing at home, or there's so much more to life than this. And it's only when you stop drinking and you get out of that zone and that way of thinking, that framework of thinking, that frame of mind, that you really start to understand that alcohol is not going to give you anything. And that moderation is just it's another thing that's going to keep piling in the money into the pockets of the big rich drug dealers, for want of a better word. So if you want help quitting drinking alcohol, we've still got the book up at the moment. I think in a couple of weeks we're going away next week, so we'll try and get another couple of videos up before then. And once we get back, then the book is going to be gone, and we're going to be we're starting the alcohol mastery workshop, so that's going to be something new that we're going to be doing. So if you want to do that, you can sign up now for the book and get the book, and anyone who's on the on our list for the book will get a notification of when the next workshop is going to come up. So, you know, it's not going to be very often that we're going to be doing this, you know, so keep an eye out for that, and let me know what you think. All right, take care of yourself, keep the alcohol out of your mouth, onwards and upwards. Bye now.